خەڵکی کوردستانی عێراقام.
Ce pays, ça fait maintenant 4 mois et dans l'école.
मुझे यहाँ 27 साल हो गए.
If a youngster doesn't have English and quite clearly to access the curriculum, they're going to need to learn English. And also, because they don't have that much time within the educational journey, we have to get on with it. So we set up facilities and people and programs that will actually facilitate the rapid sort of acquisition of English. And we never cease to be surprised at the speed with which youngsters who arrive here with absolutely no language very quickly move to functional English, and then very quickly move to the use of English.
George Dixon International School and Sixth Form Centre teaching assistants are at the hub of the EAL policy. In this programme we take a look at the strategies that this inner city school has put in place to help EAL pupils access the curriculum, and how teaching assistants are made an integral part of the teaching structure.
All teaching assistants are an equally indispensable part of the team as are teachers. Now, teaching assistants generally tend to be people who have a commitment to working with young people, and quite often when they arrive, they're not aware of what particular gifts they've got or what talents they've got. Now, it's our job to find that out and to actually direct and focus those appropriately so that we can actually allow them to develop as people, and they can actually be of use to the youngsters.
What do you think about Fabiola?
Yeah, Fabiola's fine.
Do you think she's moving up from level 2?
I think definitely.
We have 7 support staff. We have 2 assistants in school who support in one in humanities, one in the mathematics department, but they both have responsibility as learning mentors.
So we see number 3 is similar to number 1, right?
That's 2 and 3.
3.
Good.
We have another support staff who works alongside me and who is really my right-hand lady in the special needs and EAL department, and also within her role carries out the induction process. So they take on school-based tasks that teachers might have had to once do perfectly fine, and in fact sometimes because of the time factor that they've got, they can achieve more.
You're allowed to stretch yourself in lots of ways. You're not sticking to the rigid job description of a TA. You're allowed to be involved in many of the school activities, in the classroom. You're involved with lesson planning with the teachers. I'm helping with the admissions procedure, and I've got Mr. Gatali who speaks Somali, and he will translate for me. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. marka waxay ku tiri waxaan ahay qorada xaawisa ardayda Soomaaliya meesha imaanaysa guutaarna wuxuu nala joogaa inuu maanta idin fasiro waxaan idin sheegay.
Okay.
Teaching assistants are referred to as teachers by the teachers in the classrooms. One thing I found is that you are highly valued. Does anyone in the family speak English?
qof qoyska ka tirsan Ingiriis ku hadla ma jira qoyskiina? No.
Every student at the beginning of the year does the About Me project.
And you come from Somalia?
It helps us to find out who the children are. It helps us to find out whether or not they have a certain level of need, about their level of literacy, and sometimes about their level of English. So as new children come in, each child does one of those profile booklets, and it just helps us always to go back and be able to pinpoint their start of their career in an informal kind of assessment of who they are and what they're all about, what language they speak, that type of thing.
This is your planner, and you'll all be given one of these, and it's got lots of really useful information. Okay? Okay.
Good morning. Mukhtar.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mohammed. Ramya.
At the beginning of the school day at George Dixon, most students with a comprehensible level of English will go to their form tutors, either for registration or for assembly. We think it's important that we give a certain amount of students with no English an extra boost to their education. So every morning there is an EAL morning class that takes place for a half an hour, which is our registration time in school.
Title today, say after me, the bathroom. The bathroom. And what are we going to be doing today? We're going to learn about items in the bathroom.
Within that lesson, the children are given extra opportunities with speaking and listening, reading and writing. We have volunteers that come in and support in that.
What have I got now? What's this? What's this?
We have sixth formers that are involved.
Children, say after me.
And we have support staff or teaching assistants that also provide support for those core group of students that need that extra bit of input in the morning. The sixth formers who are actually involved in supporting our EAL students are actually themselves taking part in the International Baccalaureate examination. So as part of that, they have to do some voluntary service work.
This is a... Okay. Who uses this? Who uses... The man. A man uses this. Hokar, come.
For many of the classes that we do, I think it's very important not only to have the object visible to the child, but actually to show them what it can actually do.
How would you use this? How would you use this? For your... What's this called? What's this called?
They hear so many words, but if they can actually pick out one word and actually know what it means, it might help them to get the context of the lesson.
With this razor, we shave. Say shave. Shave. But do we just use this on its own? What else? Do we need anything else?
Shaving cream.
Shaving cream. Should I put this on my face? No. Who would put this on
So,
their face?
for example, with a can of shaving foam that we did in a bathroom lesson, I squirted the can and made a lather, and then the children could rub their hands together, they could dry their hands. So they had all the things to do with what that actual item, very simple though it is, in reference to an English sentence.
It's going to make a foam.
The national curriculum requirements for students with EAL status in school is that they follow to the best the levels in the national curriculum for the different subjects.
What's this one? Soap. Soap.
But within English, that's differentiated and taken down below level 3, and it's broken up onto development level stages. So obviously we have children coming in with absolutely no English. They're not going to register on the national curriculum. So we start at development level with them, and they'd work through stage 1 and stage 2. Once they reach those levels, they can transfer normally onto level 2 or level 3 on the national curriculum.
Dry. Say dry. Dry my hands. Okay.
As well as the special EAL morning classes, the school has radically altered the timetabling of the school day.
Lengthening of the lesson block, I think, was probably one of our more inspired decisions. We actually decided to change our lesson pattern because we felt that continuity was very important, and also in order to combat fairly mundane things like punctuality and attention, we decided to actually deliver the lessons in 3 periods a day of 100 minutes each. We had to resource it very strongly. We had to put in the right resources so teachers could deliver. Our level of resourcing is very high and very much based on technology. It was an experiment, but it is working extremely well.
Can you make sure that your dictionaries are on the table? Have you got your dictionaries with you today? Your dictionaries. Where are your dictionaries? Okay, put them on the tables. Ready?
We've adopted a school-based policy now that we actually buy EAL dictionaries for all children from other countries, no matter what their status is.
Are you going to be able to write some sentences about what we do in the bathroom today?
Children are expected to have those dictionaries with them at all times, to use them in all lessons, and to ask for additional support with English dictionaries if they need them.
When the bath is ready, we climb into it.
Even this one, reflex. No reflex in it. Yeah.
The buddy system is where we would take students from similar backgrounds who speak the same language or perhaps are the same age and put them into certain school groups.
Yeah, more than 90 degrees, yeah, that's true. More than 91 degrees. So what is this then, like that? Less than 90 degrees, yeah, less than...
The aim is that then they feel that they belong, they're adhesive with another group of students in school, and it helps them to become part of the school environment far quicker than if they're standing out on their own as being the new person in school.
In 1897, lots of people were celebrating the Diamond Jubilee of Queen Victoria.
Oh, that's well done.
I taught a Russian boy, Miroslav, maths. This boy used to sit and cry with the tears of frustration in his face because he was actually going to be a very clever scientist. His physics was far beyond anything maybe of our science teachers' team, but the language of the wording of the questions was what was keeping him behind. Once he got those, he would say, "Now look, miss, I'll show you," and he would tell you, and he would want to prove to you that he could outdo anything of any of his peers his age in school could do once he had the English language behind him.
Miss Mulu has joined us today, and the activity we're going to do is circle time. My word is teaspoon. So you say and repeat, teaspoon.
Angie Tomes is a learning mentor and counsellor.
And see if it's the right word for the picture.
Sudarshan Milu is a Hindi speaker and a teaching assistant in the English department. Working together using flashcards provides EAL pupils with some quality time to build confidence in speaking English and helps develop communication and social skills.
Does it match? Yes.
I think visual clues are very, very important when dealing with EAL students.
Milk jug, yes.
So we positively encourage the use of flashcards.
Well done.
Use of the interactive whiteboard to be able to give very visual clues, colour coding different things into different colours, and having somebody near the child that can actually speak to them when they've got a query, I think is very useful when you're trying to be in a classroom situation, learn a subject and in a different language.
I don't think we would ever make decisions that would disadvantage one group against another. What we are always trying to find is a balance, and you have to find a balance within the money which you're actually got. Schools are much more generously funded than they ever were in the past, so it is using your resources in the most efficient way possible, and then supplementing those resources by whatever means are available to you. And actually, I'm quite good at that. I've been around a long time, and I do know how to raise money from community groups and from people who will support this kind of thing.
On my arrival to teaching at George Dixon International School, I didn't know how capable EAL students were. You just always imagine that they're just not going to be able to speak English, so they're not going to be able to do much.
Educators are more than well aware, all teachers who deal with EAL students realise that in actual fact their abilities are as varied and as powerful as indeed any youngster from the local population. So it is a matter just of overcoming the particular difficulty and then getting on with the job. It's probably one of the most rewarding things you could possibly do.